Hansi Flick's furious post-match reaction after Barcelona's draw has sent shockwaves through the club and ignited a debate that goes far beyond tactics. Pundits are now arguing that the biggest threat to Barca's season may be inside the dressing room, where personality clashes and headline-grabbing youngsters are testing the coach's authority. The scene started to boil over after Barcelona dropped points at Rayo Vallecano, a result that left Flick openly unsatisfied with his team's intensity and decision-making, and which has been described in reporting as a worrying moment so early in the campaign. Into that heated atmosphere stepped Juanma Rodriguez, a voice that rarely minces words, who warned that one figure at Barcelona represents a uniquely combustible risk, teenage sensation Lamine Yamal. Rodriguez's wording was striking, calling Lamine a ticking time bomb, and that blunt verdict has been seized upon by pundits and social feeds alike because it converts a sporting debate into a moral drama about ego and responsibility at one of world football's most scrutinized clubs. To understand why that line landed so hard, you only need to look at the sequence of events around the match and the personalities involved. Questions over Fermin's late benching and transfer speculation had already filled the pages, which meant the team's harmony was under unusual public pressure even before kickoff. Reporters asked Flick about selection, and the coach's terse comments about ego suggested he sees interpersonal issues as at least part of the problem, a rare public airing of internal frustrations so early in the season. Yet the situation is complicated. Flick has, at other times, publicly praised Lamine and underlined his commitment to developing the teenager, even while tackling earlier controversies around goal celebrations and media headlines. That duality, coach defending talent while also warning about standards, is exactly what makes this story combustible. It demonstrates Flick's struggle to balance player freedom with the discipline required to win at the highest level. Still, raw talent doesn't grant immunity from locker room consequences. Lamine's profile has soared. Every gesture and highlight is instantly replayed and dissected. And while he's shown a willingness to improve, publicly offering self-critique after the Rayo draw and acknowledging areas to work on, critics warn that celebrity aura can corrode cohesion if allowed to go unchecked. That tension, superstar zeal versus squad stability, is the heart of the current argument. So what would a real dressing room split look like for Barcelona? The practical risks are straightforward. Fractious relationships can bleed onto the pitch in the form of poor positioning, half measures in pressing, and a reluctance to sacrifice personal stats for team shape. Off the pitch, transfer market noise and social media storms can make contract negotiations and squad planning a daily headache. For a club rebuilding under a demanding manager, even a short-form slump can flip pressure into panic, and panic accelerates mistakes. The fans remember last season's highs and expect consistency. That gap between expectation and reality makes internal disputes especially dangerous. But this isn't a verdict that writes off Lamine or absolves Flick, it's a warning signal. The manager's role now is clear. Temper the headlines with firm leadership, channel the teenager's obvious gifts into team outcomes, and show that individual flair must always be in service of collective goals. For Lamine, the test is equally stark. Continue to deliver on the pitch while demonstrating humility and a willingness to integrate, maturity that will determine whether he becomes a club legend or a cautionary tale. What should viewers watch next? Keep an eye on Flick's team talks and substitution patterns, the club's public messaging toward young stars, and any signs of players prioritizing selfish moments over team discipline. Upcoming fixtures and training reports will reveal whether Barca's unity holds or whether pundits' warnings were prescient. Ultimately, football gives answers on the pitch. If stars align with strategy, Barcelona can smooth this turbulence, but if personalities keep clashing, the very season fans hope to build on could unravel. For every dramatic pundit soundbite, there's also a note of optimism. Coaches have turned strained locker rooms into champions before, and rising stars have found their best within structures that challenge them. The next few weeks will tell if Flick's outburst was a necessary wake-up call or a symptom of deeper fractures. Either way, the spotlight on Lamine Yamal is now unavoidable. and how he and BARÇA's leadership respond will decide whether this season becomes a triumph or a lesson in how talent without temper can become a team's undoing.